Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Call to Netherdeep, and we're going to talk about the rival adventuring crew in there, and we're specifically going to talk about the member of the rival adventuring group, Galsariad Ardyth. Now, who is Galsariad Ardyth in Call to Netherdeep? He's one of the 5 members of the rival adventuring party. He is a Drow. He is specifically a Drow wizard, and he took up the arcane arts when he was 200 years old. So he's been on the planet for 200 years, but he's just now taking up arcane practices. This is kind of interesting. So I think like D&D characters, D&D elves, they live to, I think, about 375 years, right? So very long, much longer than a normal human. So what's interesting about Galsariad Ardyth? I think one of the most interesting things about this is a huge thing in the American zeitgeist right now, and that is changing careers in your midlife, right? This is very interesting. I do know several friends. I have a very good friend who's trying to do this right now and really giving a lot of thought, right, to it. And I get together with this friend like once a week, and we talk about different things. And I really, he's a brother in Christ, so I'm praying for him. But I also don't really know how to tell him this is a bad idea. Like, you don't want to be switching careers. And so here's the thing. So basically, if you spend 20 years getting a skill set, right, and then you're like, hey, I want to learn a whole bunch of new skill sets, and I'm 40 or 50 years old, generally, there's a lot of people are going to, there's a lot of people willing to blow sunshine up your butt on this one and be like, oh, that's going to work out great. But I'm definitely not one of them. I think this is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. And actually, what's really funny in the Call to Netherdeep is they're like, Galsariad really hates people who are like, you're halfway through your life. Why are you taking up the arcane arts now? You're just going to suck at them, right? It really pisses him off, right? Which I kind of get, right? And because the reality is, I think a lot of Americans want to do this. They're like, oh, I'm frustrated with this career. I need to get out of here. But the reality is, if you have 2 decades of experience, you could make bank, right? Nowadays, because people want skilled, really good employees, right? They don't want somebody coming in at 40 or 50 years old who doesn't who's like, I'm brand new at this. You could teach me how to do it. But when you're 40 or 50 years old, you got a boat and, and 2 cats, right? And I'd like to make money too, right? And, employers are not super excited about this, right? So I actually think this is real. I think is a great idea for Critical Role to put this in here, because it allows people to explore that, right, in the game, right? Because I honestly think it's just a catastrophically bad idea, and nobody should really do this. It's not a good idea. So, but I think this is exactly what Dungeons and Dragons is for, is to explore really unusual, kind of cool and fresh new ideas like this in a space that's safe, right? And so maybe you learn some harsh lessons running out, actually maybe you can teach your player characters some harsh lessons about, man, maybe you should keep your skill set and just make it stronger, right? Rather than dumping 20 years of knowledge so that you could be a noob at something, And so I think that might be the purpose of Galsariad Ardyth. But I absolutely love this rival adventuring crew, and thank you for letting me share my opinions on Galsariad Ardyth with you, and so that's my thoughts on him. What are your thoughts on Galsariad Ardyth? Have you run this character? Do you have Called to Netherdeep? Also, do you have any? Have you explored this with any of your player characters, switching the skill set after decades of being, really good at something, and then saying, I'm not going to do that thing anymore, I'm going to do a completely different thing? Love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.